For this project today, I'm going to for another part 8 to this project. We're doing from 12C on link 6 to the 19C on link 7 is the RAC system. The reason I'm doing this is because it looks like this Transportable Tablespace method TTS looks much simpler compared with I did in the 6-step. The video is the 5, 6, and 7, which is using RMAN. Take quite a long time. So I try this way to see what it looks like. The reason is, if you see the RAC system, they have a lot of setup, right? But in the RMAN system, what you have to do is you have to, according to the RAC setup, the first things to do is decluster database, make a database that looks like a single database, and then do the upgrade. When you're done the upgrade, and then you clustering, put into the RAC again. So the whole things, you have to know how to dealing with the RAC. But for transportable tablespace doesn't care, because they're doing with deal with a database. You only have one database. Even you have a 4 instance, but they do not carry instance. Only they carry about the database. So that's why if you do not have knowledge about the RAC system, that's perfect. Okay, you still can do it. Here's the system we have. Is source 12C. Link 6. That is little India, right? We have 19C for target. Link 7 is also little India. That's meaning we do not have any conversion between these two. They're same. If you see my one about from AX to the Linux, AX is a bigger India. That's why we'll have to do the conversion using RMAN. But in this case, you don't need to do the conversion using RMAN. For generally migration method, from upgrade or migrate, right? We have 3 ways to do it: data pump, RMAN, or transportable tablespace method. In the number 3rd TTS, if it's a RAC system, the problem you have dealing with is the ASM file transfer. How do you do it? Oracle have a 2-way suggestion. One is using RMAN, another one using the DBMS file transfer, port file or get file. Today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to use this one. asmcmd copy. Directly copy it to see how it works. Here is a summary about my task. First, I create one database with the only 2 system CSOX tablespace, right? Then I'm determining what the tablespace to be transferred and create a script. The next one, for those on the source side, the tablespace to transfer, I set up all the tablespace source database to be read only. And then when it is in read only, the first I'm going to export the metadata. Metadata, not whole date, only metadata from the source database. And then we're using the copy of this one export file from the source to target server. The next one will be using asmcmd copy the data file, which is 12C RAC data file from the ASM to file system. Of course, I tried to directly copy from these data files to the ASM source to the target ASM, because of Oracle box it doesn't work. So they have to do this way, copy to the file system. Now, because we already finished to export and copy from the ASM to file system, I can put the database, source database, to read or write again. When done that one, copy it using SCP, just a normal copy on the file system side, those data file from the source to target. On the target side, I using asmcmd copy those data files to 19C ASM. When finished that one, I do the import metadata we got from the step 4 into target database. Basically, that's it. So you can check to see it's working or not, database is up or not. So let's see the details. The first one is the created new database with 2 only, right? The DB say, if you see my last TTS one, because I create users, I saw maybe system or database users created for anything related to sys or MS sys. The others may need the user tablespace. Actually, they don't need to. They create a user, those users sys systems default table, so default table space is a system. So it doesn't matter because the users is using heavily in the custom database, so we need to transfer all of the users from there. The next one, this script we're using to try to determine which table space is going to be transferred. So we're limited database. In the source database, we limited these 5 of them. Everything else we're going to bring over. This script created 2 scripts. One is change the table space to read only. Another one, change table space to read write again. Now let's run the read only one. We run in the read only one, put all of table space. This is what we have from the script we created before, right? So those table spaces are created by now. It's set up in the read only status. The next one, we export metadata from the source database. So the export one is the only things I put here. So if you see my last video, right, you see I'm using version equals 12, the command. I did use the version equals 12 because that one's an 11G database. You have to indicate which version you're going to compatible with, but that's version 12. But here, you are not going to use a version equals to 19 because this is 12C database. You don't need that one. If you do, you got error. So here is the par file I'm using. Everything else, you know what it is, but one thing is 4 equals to yes. Even we only transfer 6 table space, not including system or sysocs, but you use the 4 equals to yes. When you command using here, here's the transportable equals to always. When you're doing this, they know you're doing transportable TTS way, so you still can use more force. 4 equals yes. So these are 2 things that make you export to be, so database will know you're doing TTS. One is the transportable equals to always, another one 4 equals to yes. Then they say okay, it's okay with our system and sysocs table space. When we did export or copy export file from source to target, this is just a simply SCP copy, nothing fancy. You copy the DMP file to the location on your new system anywhere. That'll be fine. The next one, we go to table space in the source database. It is still the read only, and what we are going to do is we're going to copy the 12C data file from ASM to file system. Here is the command we're using. This file, it is OMF file. the OMF file we copy to the file system. Of course, you'll probably ask me, can you copy this one to not using some TTS or 1 DBS? You just use the same name. Yeah, I can. I did that one. Later, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this. So when you do this one, you copy the file from ASM to file system, right? I'm running this file. It should go to ASM to FS. Now we don't need the database, source database anymore. So we change the source database to the read-write for this table space using the script we created before. When we've done this one, the next one, we are going to copy the data file, which is on the file system, from the source server to target server. We go this directory, which is the we got the file located, right? And then we're just using SCP, simply copy this file to the new node, which is in Linux 7, 19C. Now we're done with the source servers. We go target server. In the target server, we are going to, first things is we're going to copy this data file. So those data file is on, it is on the file system now, right? So we're going to copy those files to the ASM test data. But when you do this, you can do everything. So it looks like what's happening is that no matter what you do, they are going to create one alias in this directory, but it's not a real file. This is because of a bug. This bug is designed doing so by worker. It's not say something wrong because they decided doing this way. So what they did is when you use this command copy for asmcmd copy, right? They put file in date ASM. They're not going to put, say, I put some directory there. No, they're not going to. The file is going to date ASM. And then TTS1DBF in this directory, that is the only one pointer. Do you see that? It pointed to the real file in the ASM. I did try different ways. Say I copy this file, right? This file is OM file to this directly to see what happened. It's the same thing. You created files under ASM, but they create a pointer in this directory. This work a bug. You have to live with it if you try to use the TTS. So it makes your database looks like an old single database that you did a long time ago, 11G or something. They have say file names, right? It's not OMF created file name. When the file is in ASM, we do the import. The import is the simply is the par file I'm using. You're reading from this file export before for still equal to yes. The only things that make difference with the traditional import is transport data file. You got to find this one. You log in the asmcmd to see what is in this directory underneath what its file name looks like. Because for me, just easily because I'm using all of them things like TTOS1, DBF, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So the file name will be similar like here. You put the transport data file. Here's to do the import. The program will know, okay, you're doing TTS. And you run it, call this file. basically, when you import it, your database is going to see these data files. Your upgrade is already done, and your database is already from 12C ASM to 19C ASM, and also upgraded. So let's check the database now. We log in the database, select the file name from DB data file. Now you can see those are transferred data file. TTS1 DBF is showing just like an old time. The file is always a username, not like a new one we're using OMF. But it's okay. It is working. It is working. It's just looking is not really good. If you select the table space name from the DBA table space, you can see those table space is there. By this way, it looks very simple, but the problem is when you do the import, also related to work or bug, it creates a lot of invalid object you have to fill. You can't to fix it. That is probably a big job. So the work or bug, you fix the work or bug first, and then you can do the import again to see you can solve the issue. But I just do not have time to deal with it. I'm going to stop here. This is part 8. Hope you like it, and I hope it's going to help you in the future. Thank you for watching.